Okay.
Hello, everyone. So we are from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and then we joined the NASPA case study competition. My name is Ifa, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. And I'm here with,
My name is Ted, pronouns are she, her, hers.
okay, next. So we already received the case study we are going to talk about, and I'm just going to give you a summary of it. So it's about a student called Gab. He attempted suicide after a breakup with his girlfriend, who is Sarah. The police notified the institution, and a suicide note was found in which Gabe blamed Sarah and framed the attempt as a way to punish her. So the next day, the dean of students convened the behavioral response team to determine how to respond. The staff debated whether this situation should be treated as a mental health crisis requiring care and support, a conduct violation involving relationship and dating violence, or a combination of both, given the threatening nature of the note. Next. So in this slide, we're going to be defining the issues or the problem, and then we're going to talk about the central and the secondary issues. So for the first one is student safety and well-being. So Gabe's immediate mental health crisis is a priority, and Sarah's emotions and physical safety must also be assessed given the threatening language in the note. Two is campus safety and threat assessment. So the school, which is MCC, must determine if this is solely a mental health issue or a well-being issue or a student conduct issue, domestic or relationship violence issue, or it could be both. And three, legal and ethical responsibilities. So the legal team must avoid stigmatizing Gabe while protecting Sarah. They must determine what information can be shared with the faculty, Sarah, and the police. And with the secondary issues, we're thinking about the reputation of MCC. What if this gets out? How would the students behave? How would faculty react to it? Like, how would everyone react to it? And then another point we have here is the misunderstanding among BRT members about definitions of domestic violence threat, conduct under campus policy. Three is communication challenges, who to tell whom and what to tell them. And the last is maintaining trust in a diverse urban community college setting with many part-time and commuter students. So over here, we are going to describe the context and then we apply it to practice. So we chose the Schlossberg's theory because both students are in the middle of difficult transition, and for Gabe, the breakup, the academic pressure, the transfer stress all collide at once. And for Sarah, this is a traumatic transition. She's learning that someone she really cared about tried to harm himself and implicated her. So the four S's in the Schlossberg's theory is going to help us support this point, which is the situation, the self, support, and strategies. So we're going to use this to assess what each student has and what they are missing. So in application to Gabe, with the situation side, it's breakup, emotional distress, academic pressure, and the desire to transfer. And for the self, there is limited coping skills, and we are unclear about his health history. If this is the first time he's done this or this is the second time, we do not know. And for support, we could see there is minimal visible support system as the faculty did not notice the warning signs and all. And for strategies, we thinking Gabe's strategies were mostly internal and unhealthy. He didn't reach out for support, and when he was overwhelmed, he withdrew and used this suicide note as a coping mechanism. And you could tell that he lacked positive strategies. and didn't have a strong support system in the school or within his friends. We don't know. So we must also respond with structured mental health support, case management, and ongoing monitoring because we don't know what he could do next. And application to Sarah for the situation, we could say breakup followed by Gabe's suicide attempt. And for self, she's a first year student. She's emotionally stressed. She's trying to focus on social work program. And for support, Sarah would also need counseling, reassurance, and academic flexibility because we don't know if she'll be able to jump into school right away or she needs some time off. And strategies, we say Sarah uses a healthier coping strategies. She communicates, she sets boundaries, and she stayed engaged. But this situation is still traumatic. She also needs like a trauma informed support. She needs academic flexibility and the reassurance that the campus is prioritizing her emotional health and her physical safety. So, how we respond to this issue, whether students trust the institution, especially at this community college where many students already feel disconnected, because in the case study, we have part-time, we have Black students. There are so many people in this issue in this school. So the environment would be able to tell us if this place is communicating safety or fear or care or neglect. We don't know. And we want the response to also communicate that you are safe, we are here for you, and we will handle this responsibility. That is what we are trying to communicate to the students. Next.
Okay. Thank you so much, Farah. So I will continue with theory to practice interventions. So to respond this case in a responsive way, we choose ACP and NASPA competencies. We review all the competencies and we pick up the relevant competencies to apply in this case. The first competency is law, policy, and governance. We choose this one because this reminds us to follow MCC policy carefully, and we consider that the team needs to check whether the situation fits the school's definition of relationship harm or domestic violence or something, and we have to talk with under the Title IX and legal staff before deciding if the contact action is needed. I think this competency keeps the process fair and consistent. The second competency we would like to choose is personal and etiquette foundations, because we consider that it is required to focus and to react this case professionally and with empathies. Like Edva mentioned, we have to make the students feel safe and secure. At this time, we have to protect both students' privacy. We have to avoid blaming language, and we don't have to assume why someone at that in a certain way. We consider that it is about doing the right thing and treating everyone with respect. So that competency that we choose is student learning and development. I think even though even after this case, we have to provide for the continuity of their learning. At this time, we have to provide some communications and the boundaries and the healthy coping strategies to help them move forward with their educations and academic journey. And that fourth competency we choose is advising and supporting. I think both students should get personalized care. So under this, we want to provide some counseling referrals, academic check-ins, and make sure that they understand these resources. And also, it is also important to have a cooperation between the faculty and the campus departments to solve these situations through the collaborative effort. And the last competency we choose is social justice and inclusions, because this competency reminds us to be fair and aware of identity. So when we consider this case, we need to avoid biases related to culture, gender, or the background, and we have to ensure that both students get the same access to support and protection. I think this helps keep the response balance. So on the other hand, there might be some kinds of the ethical and also legal dilemmas. So at this time, we have to balance privacy with the safety of others, and we need to choose between focusing on care or using the contact process. And
Mm.
policy isn't always same when we intend and impact don't match. So at this time, we need to protect student rights while managing risks, and we have to also avoid language or actions that could make things worse for either student. And on the other hand, there can be some kinds of the positives and the negative outcomes. Otherwise, we can consider like intended consequences and unintended consequences. So, as for the intended consequences, our intention is to make the students safe and secure. So, at this time, we want Gabe gets coordinated mental health support to make them safe and connected. And also for Sarah, we intend that she receives a trauma-informed support so that she feels safe and not blamed. And we also want the campus gets a proper safety reviewed and the school stays in compliance with the Title IX and the other internet policies. However, on the other hand, there can be some of the unintended consequences. We can consider these as unspoken consequences. So the first thing is that Sarah might feel overwhelmed and guilty because especially when she know notes from Gabe. And furthermore, on the other hand, like sharing too much could also break the FAPA rules, and not sharing too little, and also sharing too little could hurt trust. And furthermore, there can be rumors among the students. So at this time, this can also impact on the reputations of the schools and also the privacy of Gabe and Sarah. And for if we can handle these issues, there might also be confusions when we handle the future similar cases. And also there might also tensions between the BRD team to handle this case. So at this time, when we when we respond to this case, we have to consider intended consequences, and also we have to expect for the unintended consequences. So since we consider this case as a we intend for these safety of the students, we choose three main actors who should respond and who has a major responsibility and contributions in this case. Since our focus is the student-centered, we choose three major actors in this case. Three major responders in this case. The first person is Dr. Willis, who is the dean of the students. We consider that he can lead the overall plan and keep aligned with their policy and care to handle this case. And the second person we choose is Dr. Graham, who is from the student care and outreach. We consider that the continuity of the students' learning is important, and also so to provide them some kinds of mental health and other resources. So Dr. Graham is really responsible for the trauma-informed support after and during this case. And the last person we consider important is the Emily who is responsible under the Title IX. And I think that she can look at whether the situation fits with the definitions of the domestic violence or threat, or make sure that all the reporting meets federal governance. So to continue with what message should be sent, we choose four to the first one is we plan to send message to Sarah, and we plan to message to Gabe, and we plan to message to faculty, and plan to message to campus community. For Sarah, we have to start by clarifying that she is not responsible for Gabe's case, and also we can check on how she is feeling and how we can offer some kinds of the resources, counseling, safety planning, or some kinds of the academic flexibility. And And that this, with Sarah, we will only share the part of the note that is necessary for her safety, and we communicate it generally using trauma informed language. So, concerned with message to Gabe, we want to express our care for his well-being, and we want to assure with him that we will support his recovery. We can explain him what resources are available and what expectations he can expect when we move forward. And even if the case is in the contact, we describes it clearly and calmly without a panic tone. And also, for the continuations of their learning, we would like to inform to some faculty and staff, and for example, like especially to the instructors of both Sarah and Gabe, we want to inform them that with a message of, hey, students in your class is managing a serious personal crisis, so that please offer flexibility as needed. So by this way, the instructors can know they will provide some kinds of the support and the needs for the continuations of their learning. And so we will also want to send a message, especially email to the campus community. We want to spread a message. We at this time we want to keep the language broad. We will not specify the case in details in the email. For example, like we will send the email like the college is aware of an incident involving a student, so there is no added threat to campus. Furthermore, at this time, we will add the information like students when you face these kinds of the similar issues, we have some kinds of the resources. We will list out the resources in the email, and then we will also add that to prevent these kinds of situations, we will provide some kinds of like suicide prevention training. So these are the messages that we intend to send to the Sarah, gay faculty, and the campus community. So, with the campus relationships and other parts, Eva will continue with it. Over to you, Eva.
Thank you, Ted. The next slide. Okay. So, in this case, one biggest thing we have to manage is our relationships with the two students at the center, which is Gabe and Sarah. So, both are experiencing this situation from completely different emotional places. So, we have to approach each of them using a trauma-informed and culturally sensitive lens. So, for Gabe, our relationship centers on stabilizing him, making sure he's safe, he's connected to medical and mental health care, and he's being supported without judgment. And for Sarah, our role is to provide reassurance, protection, and emotional support because even though she didn't know about the notes, the contact directly targeted her, and this could impact how safe she feels on campus. We also have to manage internal institutional relationships that include coordinated communication across the student care and outreach, the counseling services like CAPS, Title IX, the behavioral response team, the campus police, and even the faculty who may need to support these students academically and emotionally, because this case touches both the mental health concerns and potential conduct and safety concerns. So it's critical that all these officers stay aligned. If not, we risk sending mixed signals and mixed messages or handling parts of this case inconsistently, which can harm both students and create institutional liability. So there are also external relationships we can't overlook. That is the hospital team that treated Gabe and the local police who responded to the call. They have the information that we need, but we must also navigate it with FERPA confidentially and consent carefully. Also, maintaining strong relationships with these community partners would help ensure smooth communication during this crisis. And in the end, the goal is to keep everyone informed appropriately, protect both students' well-being, and uphold the campus safety while protecting the policy and the law. The next. So for here, there are multiple groups involved, and each one is coming in with different priorities and interests, and that really shapes how the situation must be handled. So like Title IX and the campus police, they are primarily focused on campus safety and whether the suicide notes represent a threat or a violation of conduct, etc. And their interest is to make sure that no one is in danger and the institution is following the law. On the other hand, the student care or the counseling services and the BRT are also looking at the emotional and psychological aspects of this issue or the well-being of both Gabe and Sarah. And they are thinking about stabilization, they are thinking about trauma-informed care, and they're making sure each student has access to the support system. So their priority is not punishment, but safety, healing, and continuity of care. Then you have the institutional leadership who are also thinking about the broader impact, things like equity, campus climate, liability, legal responsibilities, and how the institution is seen by the community. So they want to make sure that whatever decision is made aligns with the policy, aligns with the institution, and it also protects the institution. And all these policies should also provide ethical care. And um, because all these interests don't automatically align, the BRT has to be very intentional about it. They need clear communication so that one office isn't acting over the knowledge of the other. They have to do it hand in hand in alignment as one. They also need to stay grounded in the policies like the MCC Code of Conduct, the Title IX definitions, or the clery requirement. So their decisions are legally sound. And above all, they also need to take a trauma-informed session, coordinated approach so neither student feels alone or misunderstood or overexposed. So managing the relationships here is really about recognizing that everyone brings a different lens, and the goal is to make sure that all those lenses come together to support student safety, well-being, and the institutional responsibility. Next. So here we have our references with the Schlossberg's theory and then the ACPA NASPA competencies. Thank you very much for listening to our presentation.
Thank you.